Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. Let's wake up the neighbors, man. Guys, namaste. God bless. How are all of you? Hopefully you're all well, as I say every friggin' day. Had the habit. Oh, wait. Habit. That's kind of like the premise of today's show. But I came across some words, which I do every day, but I came across these, and I wanted to share with you guys. Sorry, I'm coughing in your face here this morning. The memory button on Facebook is an amazing invention. I love it. Absolutely love it. Not only does it show you where you were, but it also shows where you're going. And I wrote these words back in 10, 11, 14. I saw this yesterday. And it said, I may be at the point of nothing, but I am in the process of creating something. Isn't that cool? Sounds very inspiring, huh? This is coming from a guy who 9 years ago, wow, not 9 years ago, who literally didn't eat for days on end at a time. That was at the pinnacle of Jerry's demise. It was the acme of my life back then, but it was nothing new to me. This is the point. If you guys can check your history, you'll find out your destiny. It's really cool, because what that was just a verbiage I was trying to project out, but I was still living in that past. Here's my point. Here I am looking for food, like waiting for bakeries to close back then. Coincidentally, isn't that funny? To get the throwaways from the day to actually have a meal. The thing is that I was always doing that growing up. I lived in the mentality of poverty since day one. So coming to that point 10 years ago, I was 45, was nothing new to me. And this is the epiphany you guys got to understand for yourself. This is why it's so important to check your history. We're all checking the history of everything else around us and making improvements, but we forget that every thought is a spiritual blueprint to a destiny. And when you truly grasp what you're sending out every day, you realize it's virtually nothing new. It's nothing new. You become so used to either worrying or in poverty or being sick or happy on the latter end of that, or abundant or successful. Does that make sense? We're all creatures of habit indeed, but we're also creatures of thought habit. What we send out continuously every day is nothing new. It's just a pattern of thought that we kept for decades. And it's something for you guys really to ponder, because that is where you're going. So in essence, if you check your history on Facebook and you check your verbiage from what you were saying a year ago, 5 years ago, in my case, almost 10 years ago, you'll realize where you are now. You're just a self-fulfilling prophecy of your own thoughts, feelings, verbiage, and action that you've been sending out every single day that the world has just given to you. Does that make sense? It's a great understanding of your own self. It's a great understanding that, yeah, indeed, if you're struggling now for just the basic necessities in life, probably this is nothing new. You just totally forgot about it. You've probably been struggling your whole life. If you haven't found the right love in your life, you've been struggling your whole life with love. This is nothing new to you. Does that make sense? It should be a great wake-up call to your history, because your history is what's creating your destiny. It's your story. And I said it many times here at America's Mentor, what we live by, we bring to. And indeed, out of the quote box today, this kind of matches what I'm going to talk about today. Life won't give up on you if you don't give up on it. This is what I was telling myself 9 years ago. I may be at a point of nothing. Indeed, I may be at a point of nothing, but I am in the process of creating something. And that was actually a note to my girls. I used to write them good night messages on my wall. Probably embarrass the hell out of them. They're like, Dad's part of the motel, you got nothing. But to me, that I didn't care. That was just a facade of somebody who I wasn't. But then I realized back then is what I created. And if you're creating the same things over and over again, the aches and the pains, what do you think about all day? Aches and pains. If you're creating the life of loneliness, what do you think about all day? Being single and lonely and sad all day long. All of this should make complete and utter sense of your thought patterns every day. Check out your history. Check out what you've been through in life and realize that that was the foundation and still is the foundation of the house that you're living in, of the thought process that you bring to the world every single day. It should be uplifting and inspiring to know that you can change it. Indeed, I'm living proof, and there's millions of us like that out there because we've installed and we never gave up that factor of life. It's called the will. Will is desire, wish, appetite, passion, choose, and determination. Hence, the meaning is mental powers manifested through intention. If your intention is to get well, then nothing in this friggin' world is going to stop you from getting well. It's your intention. It's your passion. It's your desire in life to feel better about yourself. But you got to realize what you're putting in every single day. Not necessarily in a food sense, but a mental sense. Because everything starts with thought. This is what I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why this person who cared about life so much, cared about people so much, and cared about everything in general. I mean, I even felt bad stepping on a bug back then, man. But even now, the point was, it wasn't that I was a bad person. I just had a bad foundation. I was living on shaky ground. Does that make sense? I was living on shaky ground of thought, and a lot of us do that every single day. A lot of us live by the notion that this is how life is. It's almost like a thought Stockholm syndrome that we live in every single day. We think we think that life is hard and a struggle. All we can manifest is more hard and struggles. If we think that life is scary and we're going to manifest all these things and sicknesses, that's all we can do. It's a great wake-up call. It's your compass. It's your mental compass, your emotional intelligence of understanding your thought process of what you're sending out every single day. And when you grasp that, I mean, the people, it's amazing how one of the very first books I read, it was in a mall in Keene, New Hampshire. I was doing an assignment many moons ago. And here I am thinking, yeah, I want to learn about motivation and everything else. So I picked up Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. Had no idea what it meant. All I know, it was small and it was easy to read. And come to realize is what Viktor taught me. He was a Vietnamese psychologist who lived through Auschwitz, I think in Dachau, in the Second World War, the concentration camps. But what that little book showed me was the will to do stems from the knowledge that we can do. But we have to understand what's causing the present moment in our life is our history. You don't see that kind of outcome of World War II anymore because we learned from that. The problem is we don't learn from ourselves. We're more worried about the outside world than what's going on in here and what our subconscious is sending out every single day. That invisible waves of energy of how we perceive ourselves. So I'm going to get to a quote that he said before I head off to work. And I hope that this really jacks you guys in the ass today and says, wait, I've created all this. Indeed. But here's what the will to do can change for you. And this is what helps me every single day. I literally had to rebuild the foundation and still do, mind you. It's a never-ending process, but it should be an amazing process because if you look on your memories on Facebook, I've been, with Facebook, since 2009. And if you get all those memories there, look at who you were to who you are now. I can almost guarantee you are the same person, manifesting the same scenarios, the same situations. Think about it. It's all your friggin' thought habit. It's the foundation that you were raised on. You were probably bitching about the same thing you were 10 years ago as you are right now. Therefore, you keep creating more things to bitch about. Does that make sense? So guys, here's what Viktor Frankl said. And this is a guy who literally understood how the mind worked, and it kept him alive during that Holocaust. And he wrote, everything can be taken from a man. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing. The last of the human freedoms, indeed, his thinking. To change one's attitude in one given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. We have that. We have that choice every single day. I mean, what was that movie, The Shawshank Redemption? When Andy Dufresne was thrown in solitary confinement for playing music. You guys remember, and then he got out, he was all kind of disheveled, and they said, how did you survive a month in solitary confinement? He goes, in here, They go, what do you mean? They said, I just replayed the music that I wanted to hear. Does that make sense? It's what you put in that little noggin every single day will determine your outcome in life. What you think about every day in life is what you bring about every day. And if you understand your history of your thought process and your actions and your constant verbiage that you send out to the world every day with your conversations and the environment around you, you realize what you're creating. It's an amazing epiphany, guys. This alone should wake you the hell up and say, wait a minute, well, let me go check my history. Who the hell was I 10 years ago? I can almost guarantee you're the same person now. And if you're not happy where you are, you don't have to stay that way, but you have to incorporate the will to do. That stems from the knowledge that we can do, that desire, that passion, that appetite for a new life that you've always wanted to create. It's doable. It's all doable. But it all starts with thought. It all starts in who you are as a person and you understanding your history. Yeah, we've all been through shit in life. We've all had everything taken from us in some way, some form, some fashion, abused, used, and the problem is we've gotten used to it. We've gotten used to being unloved. We got used to not having enough. We got used to not believing in ourselves. Does all of this kind of grasp at the core foundation of who you are? Because when you understand who you are, you understand where you can go. So guys, I have to go to work, man. So America's Mentor _radio on Instagram, at America's Mentor on Twitter, at America's Mentor on YouTube, guys. Most important thing that we all should understand is that yes, indeed, we've all been somewhere. We've all had it done to us in some form or fashion, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it might be, that has hurt us immensely. It's rocked us to the core. But the good thing is you can always rebuild it. You can always rebuild the foundation of who you were to where you want to go. But it's a constant process. It's an appetite for being that best you. It's a desire to create something that you never had, that's in the back of your friggin' mind that won't let you sleep at night. This is the beauty about life, guys. The will to do in our life means that we have the opportunity to create anything we want. But it all starts between your left and right ear and that energy wave that is sent out every single day. I thought life was the problem. No, life's not the problem, meatball. It's looking in the mirror or looking at myself here. I am the creator of everything. When you realize you're the creator of everything, you realize what kind of history you're living by your circumstances right now, by where you've been in the past. Guys, enjoy your Thursday. I got to get to work, man, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.